Spurge here. In this video, we're going to take a look at the Dainese Metractive riding shoes. Now, this is going to be the Air version. There is going to be a waterproof version as well, but the version that we are going to be talking about today is going to be the Air. So think two-season functionality. This is something you can wear from the spring all throughout the summer, and you can probably stretch it into the fall depending on how warm the fall gets in your neck of the woods. Now, this is going to be a lightweight riding shoe, so really its intended use is going to be for around town, something that is casual yet offers more protection than a regular sneaker would. This is going to be something which has, a little bit of toe reinforcement, but most of the reinforcement you're seeing here is going to be in the TPU ankle cups, as well as a reinforcement to the heel, as well as the sole, all of which we'll get into as we work our way through the video. But the too long didn't read is this is a new casual riding shoe from Dainese, which is really carrying through some of the more attractive features of the DNA that we've seen from the TCX brand. Keep in mind, Dainese bought TCX a few years back, and we're starting to see some of that technology work its way into this riding shoe, especially as we discuss the sole. Now, from a sizing standpoint, sizes will range from a 39 to 47, and this is the other area where we're seeing TCX's influence in Dainese's riding shoe. Historically speaking, Dainese have had a rather narrow footbed, more narrow than I would say even a typical D width. This is going to actually be a bit wider, more in line with what we've seen from TCX in the past. So I would say that from a width standpoint, this is going to be a D plus style width. If you've had trouble fitting into Dainese's in the past, but you've typically not had a problem with TCX riding shoes, think of that when we're talking about the width. So definitely more room from a width standpoint than we've seen from Dainese. 3 different colors are available with this. And if you are in between sizes, because there's not really going to be any half sizes here, if you're in between sizes, we would recommend sizing up. So height on this is going to be about 7 inches. Now, height typically comes in line a little bit more if we are talking about the waterproof version, because you have to kind of look at where your waterproof pants would cover down over the top here. But if you're just looking at this and you're trying to figure out, how this is going to fit with your current riding pants, or you just want to know the actual height here, we measure this around 7-inch to the height. Now, from a construction standpoint, this is going to be a knit mesh material on the outer side with a synthetic leather to the inside. Now, when we talk about synthetic leather in shoes especially, this is going to be important because it's really not going to break in the way typical leather would. So the one caveat to this is that when you get the shoes and you're trying them on in the comfort of your own home, just make sure they fit right out of the box, because they're not going to stretch and break in the way a typical leather shoe would. So we talked about the sole in the beginning on this. This is going to utilize the new Groundtrax rubber sole. This is carried over from that TCX line. And we're also going to see that this is going to be reinforced with a TPU Z plate. That is something that is absolutely carried over from TCX. So really what you're going to see here is it works in a little bit more flex while still maintaining rigidity that is a bit more crush proof. So you get more comfort while walking, but in the event of an accident, that sole is very rigid from the outside. But I would say it's 4 out of 10 from a walking rigidity standpoint, and it's going to be very comfortable for you to put this on, and wear it all day, on or off the motorcycle. And that's really the advantage that we're seeing with the push towards some of these riding shoes. Now, we talked about a protection standpoint. You are going to see symmetry working its way through here, so a little bit of a shift pad on the right shoe as well as the left shoe, despite the fact that you wouldn't need that extra shift reinforcement on the right shoe. Just working our way through here, there is going to be perforation on the inside of this riding shoe, and we talked about this earlier, but there are going to be TPU cups on the lateral as well as the medial side, and then a bit of reinforcement at the back of the heel, slight little bit of reflective worked in there above the Dainese logo, and then some neoprene stretch at the back of this just to hold your foot into place, hold the shoe into place as you use the little pull to pull this on. Now, as we look at the front here, underneath the laces, now the one cautionary tale with lace shoes is you want to make sure that those laces are all tucked away so they can't get themselves caught up in any of the moving parts of the motorcycle, especially on a chain. But what I like that Dainese has here is a little bit of a fold over to the top to make sure the laces stay in place. And there is just a small little hidden pocket on the top of that. Now, not really much room in here for more than maybe stuffing a key up underneath there or whatnot, but there is just a little stash pocket on the inside of this flap. But the flap, from a functionality standpoint, does a good job of just making sure those laces are all tucked up and underneath any moving parts of the motorcycle. Really the one thing you want to make sure of if you are wearing a lace shoe. But a very simple design shoe from Dainese. You're going to get that protection with the sole and with the reinforced heel and the ankle cups on this. That's really where the riding shoe aspect is going to come into play. A lot of air mobility pushing through here, so it is something you're going to want to wear in the warmer months of the year. But if you're looking for a riding shoe that you can use both on and off the motorcycle, this is going to be the newest one in Dainese's line of lifestyle shoes. The only downside to a riding shoe is you're not going to get the maximum protection that you get up into more of a full height boot. But the trade-off is for the people that are just casually wearing sneakers as it is, this is going to give you more protection but maintain that all-day wearability and the style of a typical high top sneaker. So if you want more information on these particular riding shoes, you want to read what other riders have to say, you can click the info button on your desktop or mobile device. You can read other rider reviews. And if you have more questions on these particular riding shoes or any of the riding shoes on our site, you can always reach out to one of our customer service reps and they can walk you through all the different riding shoes available to make sure that you find the right riding shoe to match with your style as well as your budget. I want to thank you for joining us for this look at the Dainese Metractive riding shoes. I'm Spurge. Enjoy the ride.